Hello, everyone. This is Joe for Allen Hohen, and tonight I want to do something just a little bit different. Those of you that are familiar with football that's played in the United States, there's something called an audible. That's where the quarterback sees an opportunity or a problem, and he calls an audible and changes, hopefully, the course of the game and maybe put some points on the board. Now, I want you to picture this. There's this beautiful green, lush field, and the field is called Focused and Successful. Now, we're all in that field. We're all focused, we're all successful. Now, there's one problem, is that around that field, off in the distance, it looks like there are some patches of grass that's greener on the other side of the fence. And one at a time, some of us are going to those supposedly greener pastures on the other side of the fence. Now, the truth of it is that those greener pastures are actually mirages. And between us and that supposedly greener pasture is a big field of briars getting thicker and larger and longer thorns the further you get into them. Now, as an administrator, or in a sense as a shepherd, I look out there and I see some of us heading into those briar patches, and like a good shepherd, I'm in there, right in there behind you. And over time, I find myself about as deep in the briars as anybody else, and it's kind of like they say, in the swamps of Louisiana, don't lose focus that your original goal was to drain the swamp. I'm just going to let that phone go in the background. So what I'm going to do tonight is my priority tonight is to refocus everybody to get us back into the focused and successful green pasture. But I want to start with one of the things that's really important that's going to blend in with what I'm going to be talking about. And that's the importance of the subject line. Most of us are primarily doing email marketing, which is still the very best way as an entrepreneur to make money online. Excuse me, I've got a bad case of asthma and allergies, and I'm going to have to take a little water every once in a while. It's not proper protocol, as they say, but hey. Okay. So we're going to talk about the importance of the subject line. Now, what makes it so important for us marketers is usually that's the only thing that someone that's browsing their inbox, I know viral inbox would be that way, and Google is that way. That's the only thing they see. They don't see the body text. And based on the subject line, they make the decision to go into the body text. Now, let me state one thing. Most everything that you're promoting, that I'm promoting, if they get into that body text and opt in, they're going to become part of it. I know some of you have a lot of leads, but for the most part, if you get them as a lead, you're going to have a friend and an associate and a compadre for a long time, because there's so many good programs out there. And so the most important thing is to have a subject line, number one, that's truthful, but will grab their attention. Now, what I do is I change the subject lines about once a week. Now, something to write this down now. When you get a really good subject line that's really converted for you and it starts to drop off, you write that subject line down. Because in the internet, 4 months is a lifetime, and you can use that subject line 4 months from now, and it's going to have the same effect it just now had. It goes up, and it starts to trail off. You come back 4 months later, it's going to go up and start to trail off. That's what entrepreneurs do. They continue to reuse their subject lines, change them, but they don't use the same one all the time. So change that subject line frequently, write down the good ones, and just bring them back. So that's the keynote about subject lines. They're very, very important because that's the only thing that people see, and that's what you got to grab them with. And I have changed one word and seen a 300% increase in activity, and I've changed one word and seen a 300% decrease in activity. So you always want to be tracking your subject lines, and we've been through that before. Now, back to the field, focused and successful. In the last 2 or 3 years, I have come to know, not so much personally, but in some cases, yes, personally, spoken with them on the phone, people like Mike Glaspie, Jay Mark, George Kosh. Haven't spoke to Matt Lloyd, but he did send me a text a couple of months ago that I had just earned $3,000 commission. So I kind of feel like I know him. And who are these people? Just to give you an example, Matt Lloyd, when I met him about 6 months ago, he had a goal of making $100,000 a day. I believe right now he's at $150,000 or $200,000 a day. He's a phenomenon, worldwide phenomenon. Young man that it's an interesting story, but he has some really good information to disperse to people. He knows he knows what an entrepreneur is all about. Mike Glaspie's been online for years. Jay Mark has probably owns more safe lists than the rest of us put together. George Kosh is my trainer at World Profit. I know him fairly well, share stuff with him. He's an excellent teacher. He says a lot of the things, but I'm saying exactly the same thing when something occurs. Now, what I want to do is I want to share with you what I see in the most successful marketers that I know, their common traits, and I want you to kind of examine yourself and see where you can become more like those entrepreneurs. They're tremendously successful. And I've met quite a few through World Profit and Moby that are at the 40,000 a month level. And these also have these same traits. And those, like Steve Messino, I'm very comfortable with and speak with them quite a bit and actually have become friends. Now, what are these attributes? Well, they're all entrepreneurs. Now, let's talk about that just for a second, because every one of these in the last couple of months, I've seen the same exact thing, and it was very interesting. I said, they're all saying the same thing. And they all said, not everyone needs to be an online marketer because not everyone is an entrepreneur. Now, what's an entrepreneur or online marketer? Entrepreneur is a risk taker. They're willing to take risks to make more income. Now, if you're not willing to take any risk at all, then don't be dissatisfied when you're not really doing that much, because that's what it takes to become a really successful online marketer, is to take some risks. If you're not willing to take any risks, then maybe you don't need to be, you can piddle around with it, but maybe you shouldn't be serious about it and not get too worried about making any money. And that's what these people have been saying. I thought, well, that's kind of harsh. Maybe the poor guy needs a lift there, whatever. But anyways, so that's the first attribute is, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be successful, if you want to make a living, then you need to be a risk taker. Now, one of the attributes every single one of them has is they don't have a lot of patience with people that won't take any risk at all. And I often thought that was harsh. And I've seen them on webinars and just tell the guy and just lock him out of the webinar, and different people. And I thought, well, give the guy a break. But I know why now they do that, because they're trying to get you out of your shell. If you're not willing to take any risk at all, you're not going to really achieve much in the long run. And they're trying to get you out of that shell because they had someone to break them out of the shell, and they're paying it forward. So now I see that differently than I did before. And so that's what I've been doing with some of you, is trying to break you out of your shell. Recently, and maybe you're here with us tonight, somebody said, I don't have time, Mr. Joe, to learn how to market. I got to make money now. The answer to that is, if you don't have time to learn how to be an entrepreneur, learn how to do online marketing, then you need to get a job and make some money, and then come back and we'll talk and we'll get you all set up. But if you want to go to college in 3 days, there's two things that you got to do. You got to be smarter than that guy in the wheelchair or Einstein, or number two is you just got to be a complete idiot, think you can get through college. It's like my dad said, he went through college. He went up to the university, he went in the front door, and he went out the back. He didn't say he graduated now. He just said, I went through college. So if you want to go through college, try that. But if you want to learn how to internet marketing, then you need to go through the steps of the training, and you need to pay attention to the training and put it together and ask me questions, and we'll get you going. It's that simple. Now, another trait I want to talk about, and this is so critical to becoming successful, and I call it the blame game. Now, what are we talking about here, the blame game? Politicians are complete experts in the blame game. They can flub up and goof up and mess up and everything, and they can convince over half the people that it's somebody else's problem. It's somebody else's problem. Now, when I was operations manager of a paper mill, there was no one above me, because this was the only mill that they had like that. So there was nobody in the corporation that I could look up to or get information from, because everybody above me was in a different area, in a different field of expertise. The buck stopped at my desk as operations manager. And I learned a long way back, because I didn't blame anything on anybody. If I blamed something on those below me, they turned on me. If I blamed something on those above me, they turned on me. And the blame game is the fastest way to lose in a hurry. Now, if you're a member of a site, and I have to tell you that for the most part, there are millions of good sites that can make money. There are lots of these focused and successful green pastures out there. I just happen to be what I think is the best one for you and for me. Now, the blame game. If you're in a site and you're not making any money and you blame that site, more than likely, that's not the problem. If there's one person in the whole wide world that's making money with that site, then it's probably not the site. The problem is your lack of knowledge. And it behooves you to not blame that on the site rather than to get that knowledge. Matt Lloyd took him 3 years, and he almost drove himself crazy trying to figure out how to do internet marketing. He apparently done a good job, because he's trying to make, what I'd say, $150,000, $200,000 a day now. Okay, so the blame game. Let's not be blaming anybody. I'm not talking about reporting to me problems. Hey, that's the nature of the game. There's only one thing in the universe that's perfect, and that's God. Everything else, anything that's man-made, it's going to mess up. It's going to mess up a lot. So you don't want to get into the blame game. Rather, you want to say, what can I do to be successful? Now, in some cases, what you have to do is move on. You may be in a pasture that's got a lot of blight or something. So I'm talking about more of the situation when you're in a place where there are quite a few successful people, then the more likely the problem is your lack of knowledge. Now, bear in mind that one thing, there's right 1,800 members. We crossed 1,800 members at Team Elite Responder the other day. And I won't be happy until there are 1,800 people making the amount of money that they want to make. So that brings me to the next point, it's attitude. I love the story of the brush salesman from Middlefield, Ohio. Way back in the day, before most of you's time, because I'm at the age now where I'm older than everybody I know. So back in the day, they used to sell brushes door to door. They call them door-to-door salesmen. And they sold everything. I mean, I think they sell you a used car. I think they'd sell you the car they're driving. But anyways, so he drives up to the house because he's not doing anything. He's not doing well at all. He's going to quit. So his boss is with him. He says, "Show me how you sell," the boss said. He said, "I'll show you. I'll show you how I don't sell, because I don't sell anything, but I'll show you what I do. I do just what the book said." So they walked up to the door. He knocked on the door. Door opened up. Woman was there, and he said, "You don't want any of these brushes, do you?" Well, she had to say no. She wanted to agree with him. That's what she wanted to do. If he just said, "You want some of these brushes?" she might have been doing her head like this, and then in they went and sold some brushes. So anyways, it's attitude. Your attitude, I'm convinced, folks, I am convinced that your attitude gets into your emails. Even when you don't put it in there, it seeps in there like molasses. There's something going on with that. Whenever a person has a bad attitude, nothing happens good to them. I don't know, other than attitude, what it is. But how do you work on your attitude? Well, I got two dogs, Bubba. BJ stands for Bubba Joe, and JoJo, which stands for Joe. And one's a Beagle and the other one's a Labrador. And next time around, I'm going to bring a picture of those boys. Attitude adjustment. You know, they'll see a leak excited about like that thing was paradise. I mean, they might see something that come out of another animal and get about that. Now, that's the secret of life, is to get excited about what, and not look forward and not look back. They're looking at that leaf right there, and they are as happy as they can be. I take them for a walk every afternoon. It's good for me. It's good for them. And we find all kinds of stuff, sticks, wonderful sticks, and they may come up with an old bird nest or something like that. So wonderful bird nest. They collect all this stuff and bring it back to me, let me look at it, and they're so excited. And they might find a piece of apple that I've cut off, you know, something like that, throw it over there. So they're just real happy. Now their attitude is they're always happy. It's one thing about God's creatures is they're happy, and He wants. So you've got to be happy. Otherwise, it just seeps into those emails. And I guarantee you, and I've done this as a test, I can write an email, send it to you if you're unhappy. Now, I'm not saying who's unhappy and who's not, but I can write an email, and if you're coming to me and you say, "I'm just not happy, I'm disgusted, blah, blah, blah," and we send the same email to the same list, and and it's nothing but attitude. And it wasn't, I wrote the email, but it seeps in there. It's a mysterious force, but it has to be good. And I know I'm not what do you call it, looking at the 8-ball or fortune teller or any of that stuff, but I know what most of you, when I talk to you, I can feel your attitude. When you start chewing me out on the first ring of the phone, I know that somebody's got a bad attitude. And when you're talking about how good I am, I know what your attitude is. It comes out, it seeps out all over the place. And those of you that have a good attitude are making money. Isn't that interesting? And I don't know anybody that's with a bad attitude that's other than everything's going wrong for them. So there's something to be said about that. That's all I can tell you. That brings me to the next point. the next point is what I noticed, especially in the entrepreneurs that I got to be really close to and am close to at Moby, is what I noticed in these guys. I'm saying the two or three that I'm referring to right now are in about 40,000, 60,000 a month income. They're cool and collected, calm, and they don't seem to be in a hurry about anything. And when you say something like, well, I remember saying, I want to get the Moby has 3 levels. First level, titanium and platinum, or platinum and titanium. I forget. Anyways, I said, I want to get the next level. Oh, yeah, we'll take care of that later. And I thought, well, that's really interesting, because all of my years of my training, I was taught that when a guy says, I'm ready to buy, you popped on it like white on rice. And these guys were just calm and collected. Now, remember one thing now, before we hung up the conversation, they had my credit card number. Now, they were calm and collected, but they were focused. They were in that green grass, that tall green grass. So that goes hand in hand with attitude. Is somehow that also gets into your emails. It gets into the messages you send to people. And some of you that know me very well, you know exactly when I'm having a bad day, because you'll send me an email back. And fortunately for me, is I have some of the members that are my guardian angel, as one of them said. And we don't agree on everything, but you know what? Most of the time he's right, and I'll get mad when he's right, and then I'll go off, take the boys, Bubba, BJ, and JoJo for a walk, come back, cool and calm, send him an email, and away we go. Now, got 2 more here, and the last one is handling crises. I use the word crises because nowadays it used to be a crisis here and a crisis there, crises. And of the time right now, I think we all have to sort of rise above crises and watch the news. You know, if you find it's changing your attitude, take the dogs for a walk after you watch the news. So this is going to help you come up, because as an entrepreneur is going to buy something with it, and they're going to want their money back, and they're going to want to quit, and all these things are going to occur. But yet then you got the others that are just rays of sunshine, and so your whole mix of your downline is going to be people from one end of the spectrum of the other. And you as an entrepreneur, you're just going to have to learn how to deal with crises in the sense there, and not really let it change your focus. Now, the last thing I want to get into is, as an entrepreneur, the best thing, your goal is to put more money in the bank for whatever. If you were saving for college, if you're trying to pay off some debts, if you're trying to build something, whatever your reason for the money, that is your ultimate goal. But is your marketing goal, it should be leads, not money. And I've said it, I'll say it forever, is you want to know what a lead is worth in so many dollars per year. And after you've been a marketer for a year, you can do that on a monthly basis. You want to know what a lead is worth. Then you can set goals for yourself. Then you can set income goals, and you say, let's just throw something out very simple. Let's say that you want to make $1,000 a month, and you determine that the lead is worth $10. Let's say $10 a month. Then to make 1,000, you need 100 leads. So actually, leads for me are worth more than that, because I do a lead is worth so much a year. And then you don't worry about whether someone that becomes a lead converts or not, you gently nudge them as time goes on, and you make sure that they understand the emails that you're sending them using the broadcaster. So in the backing up and give you the little bigger picture, your leads are going into your folders at the autoresponder, Team Elite Responder, and those leads are receiving automatic messages as per your instructions, one immediately and then one after a day or whatever you said, and however many are there. What you want to do is once a week is touch base with them by sending them a broadcast, something, maybe a special offer, maybe some free tool, something to let them know that you're interested in their becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a successful marketer also. And then you can put at the very bottom, by the way, we have a special offer going at Team Responder. And that is the reason I have so many of these special offers. That's to give you something to offer. If you find a lead capture page anywhere at Team Elite Responder and you see stuff at the bottom, that is for me and for you. I'll honor it for you. If I have something I won't honor, I'll hide it. You won't see it, which I don't really have. I don't know of any of that right now. But if there's an offer there, you don't need to be sending me an email asking me, can you do it? That's for you and for me. That's the way Team Elite Responder is a team marketing system, and everything as a team leader that I've got out there is for the whole team. And so you can just put that down as, if you find a lead capture page and all you got to do is example is one of them. If you buy a $7 miracle, $7 home business, pay $7, I give you a gold membership at Instant Leads for Cash, I believe it is. And right now that's $27 for that gold membership. So right now they can get that gold membership as part of Get It Free. So that's those kind of things you can jump on. Another one is you start to use your head a little bit. And remember, right now, as a member, anybody, as a member of Team Elite Responder, you get 50,000 credits a week. And the minimum, that's worth $50. That's $2,500 a year in bonuses at one or other of my sites. And they're all good sites, every single one of them. So, and then we're going to start bringing in others as we go through mine. In fact, this weekend we got a launch by one of the members of L.A. Hunter, who was a member of Team Elite Responder for several years. I know him very well. And they're launching a new site. Don Harrison's hosting it. He's going to be doing a lot of the same as he was doing for me, and I'm going to be helping it get along. And I'm excited about that. And you'll see an email coming Friday, and we're going to do as we did for the other sites. We're going to have a real special opening thing for Team Elite Responder members, and then the prices will shoot up on Monday morning. So, but over the weekend, it's going to be rock bottom prices. So I'm looking forward to sending you that. So another thing is, think about that. I've got a lead capture page for 50,000 credits for $7. And that's what it is. And that's where your subject lines come in as you write. I've been writing subject lines as, would you like to have 50,000 credits at the top viral mailer for $7 one-time payment? And I'm getting some results and feedback. People say, explain it to me. And once I explain it, once you get them into that text, and once you get them into that opt-in form, and you explain to somebody that as a member of Team Elite Responder, they can get 50,000 credits. This week, it's, what is it this week? It's not the last mailer. That was last week. Anyways, that don't matter. They get 50,000 credits, and next week, next Saturday, we're going into another one. And when you can pay $7 for that, it's a no-brainer. And some of my instructors would get very upset if somebody turned that down. But anyways, I'm an easygoing guy. So I throw it out there, and I'm going to continue to throw it out there. Somebody sent me an email this week that I'm giving people too much, and I said, yeah, I've been accused of that, but you know what? I'd rather do it my way. And someone else sent me an email, says, you're the guy that's taking care of the low end. I guess we all didn't know we were on the low end, but so it turns out we're all on the low end. And so I'm a member of Moby, which is the high end, but I prefer to work on the low end. That's where I'm working. I think what that means is people that are getting started that don't have a whole lot of money, because most of the people I know are on the low end, especially here in Arkansas. Arkansas is a low end state. We hold the record. I think we got trophies for being low end. So I'm used to being on the low end and around people on the low end, and I love people on the low end. I love people on the high end. But anyways, so that was it for tonight. Mostly, just want to remind everybody that we are in a nice green pasture, focused and successful, and we want to stay out of the briars. And there's really, I want you to think about this. I want to ask the question, why are you looking for some place to make money? I haven't been looking for some place to make money in several years. I'm only looking for some place to expose my projects, or as you want to say, my money-making projects, to others. I'm not looking for a place to make money. I'm looking for a place to expose like $7 business. But when I see most of the things that I see that people send me, I don't take advantage of it because I don't have time. When you got managing the sites that I'm managing, I don't have time to get involved in too much anything else. And if I do get involved in something else, then the sites that I'm managing will suffer. So I'm not looking for a place to make money. I'm looking for places to expose Team Elite Responder and all my sites to. And that's why I jump on sites like Quick Cash Solos, and I jump on these solo sites, become members of those, because it gives you more and more exposure. And that's where a lot of internet marketers are right now, is using those solo ads. And remember, for $1.99, you can send an email to every one of the members of all of my sites at top Apex Viral mailer, which is on the navigation bar and all of my sites. So that if you can test that, I think you'll get, if you've got a fairly decent subject line, you'll get 100 hits and you'll get some signups. So something to think about. And that was it. And I know that we're going to continue to be very successful. And like I said at the beginning, is I won't be happy until everybody is meeting their goals. We're going to be hitting the 2,000 mark at Team Elite Responder pretty soon. The rate we're going, and that's going to be good. We got a contest going there, and be on the lookout Friday for that email that's coming. And I'm excited about that. Excited to have a sort of a group of like-minded folks that are getting into some of these sites like I am, and that's what helps us all to build our own businesses in a successful manner. So that's it for tonight. Thank you very much, and God bless you.